So I was actually not expecting to get a very good rank, and I believe like everyone, I was just, if there's one word that I can use to describe is that I was relieved that I don't have to do this again, and somehow the cycle has ended. So all those emotions of happiness, joy, me, my parents feeling proud about myself, the euphoria that followed later. The first emotion was of relief.
Hi, in this video, we bring to you excerpts from an interview with Rishabh Kumar, a UPSC CSE 2020 aspirant with an All India rank of 104. Rishabh started his preparation in his third year of college and could clear UPSC in the very first attempt. Know what his key to success are, know how he planned his journey, how he strategized, and how he could manage preparation for UPSC while undergoing an engineering education, and know his plans and his secrets to success. Watch this video.
So I'm from Jaipur, Rajasthan. Most of my schooling was done from Jaipur. Before that, I have lived in other cities as well because my father was earlier in the Indian Navy, and then he moved to the State Bank of India. So earlier, I've lived in many cities like Mumbai, Muscat, Karwar, and then we moved to Jaipur. Right. And my graduation was in BTech in Civil Engineering from IIT Delhi, and I graduated last year in 2020, and I gave my first attempt with it, and fortunately made it. And so that's largely, most of my preparation was done throughout college. So I started my preparation from third year, and during the third and the fourth year I was preparing for the civil services examination, and I did not take any break in between to exclusively prepare for the exam. So it was actually in the when I got into third year of my college, I was looking for career options, and I was fairly certain that I don't want to get into civil engineering as a career. I don't want to become a civil engineer or get into academia or research per se. So I was looking for other career options, and I thought, okay, civil services is something that interests me a lot. It is something that I would want to work in, and especially it was the Indian Foreign Service that I was interested in. The very idea that I'll get the opportunity to represent India in other countries and in other multilateral organizations, and that is something that is a matter of great honor if I ever get that opportunity. And I also like traveling, exploring new cultures, meeting new people. So I thought all of these things that I love in life, if I'm able to do these in my career, what can be better than that? So therefore I went for civil services, and I aspired to join the Indian Foreign Service. Yeah, it was a bit tricky to manage time because I had to attend my college classes, the college labs. There were other co-curricular activities that I was involved in, so I had to manage my UPC preparation with that. I had to I also had to maintain some sort of social life with my friends in college. So managing time was probably a very tricky aspect. So I had joined an online coaching institute. I used to refer internet a lot. I used to refer to YouTube. I used to refer to other sources, as many sources that whenever I got time from my college activities, I watched an informative YouTube video or a discussion, something like that. That helped me. So, and at the end of the day, it's all about what your priorities are. So after my third year, I made it sure that my first priority was preparing for the civil services, and second priority was my college academics. So I relatively gave them time accordingly. So I believe there were many challenges, and it is common in every aspirant's journey. So if there's one challenge that I have to point out, it's figuring out what to do during these 2.5 years, 3 years that I went through with this exam. Figuring out what to do and how to do it, and whether what I'm doing is right or not. So the examination is very complex. There are many variables, there are many factors, there are many strategies by many people, but what works for someone else might not necessarily work for me. What works for me might not necessarily work for someone else. So throughout these 2.5 years, I was figuring out what to do. after every month or so, or after every phase of the examination, I was reevaluating whether I'm going in the right direction, whether the amount of effort I'm putting, will it lead to any success? Is it the right path to go on? So this was probably the most challenging and as well as the most confusing part of the whole preparation, because there's always a sense of uncertainty, a sense of anxiety. What you're doing, is it right? Someone else is doing something else. Is he doing it right? Should I ask from him? Who should I ask from? So that's one challenge that I faced. How I coped up with it is that I tried a lot of things during my during my journey. So there was not one fixed strategy. I used to listen to a lot of toppers talks also. I found what they were saying. I picked some elements of their strategy and included it in mine. I tried it for some time. If it worked for me, I continued with it. If it did not, I tried something else. So it was whole a mix of experimenting and trying whether it works for me or not. And throughout those 2.5 years, it did help me understand myself a little better, how I work, what's the way I like to plan and strategize and execute it. So it was more of a self-discovery, a journey of self-discovery. A very important question, and I think everyone should realize this, that for realize one's own limits or the way you perform more efficiently. Because if someone else is studying for 13-14 hours, maybe you're not meant to study for 13-14 hours. You can cover that, you can study that much in 5-6 hours. So don't emulate someone just because someone else is doing that. You should understand yourself before doing that. In my personal case, I wasn't someone who could study for 13 or 14 hours. My usual days, it was before prelims when I was preparing, it was around 4-5 hours a day. That too not very regularly, because I had other things to do in college and I could not find out time as much as I tried to. So I had to somehow manage in that. But the basic idea is, the hours that you are putting in, you should be totally 100% dedicated towards what you're studying. You should be totally focused on that. The phase between prelims and mains, the 3 months that come in between, it was the most intensive phase of my preparation. It was then that I used to put in long hours of 10 hours, 12 hours a day. And it was only those 3 months. The rest of the time I was almost 4 or 5 hours. And that too is the upper limit. So my optional was geography. And while deciding to go for it, there were many factors. First of all, is that I was always interested in the subject of geography since I was a child. So it was my favorite subject in school. My father used to put up maps in my room and I used to look at them throughout the day. I memorized the capitals of different countries, where what is. So there was a childhood link towards geography. I lost touch with it when I chose science stream in class 11. So when looking for options, I thought, let's revisit my old love for geography. And I was also told that geography as an optional is a good mix of a humanity subjects and a technical subject, because it has those theories and all that can be applicable. It is more under, you have to understand a lot. There's a lot of concepts. So I thought, me being from an engineering background, I was suggested that geography is one of those good sweet spots between humanities and science subjects. That's why I chose it. And as I studied the subject more and more, I fell more in love with it. So fortunately, it was a good choice. I was part of the prelims test series of Edukemi. There were, I think, 4 or 5 tests in the package, and I was also part of the interview program. And before that, when I started my geography journey, I was associated with Shabir sir. He was the one who laid the foundation of geography. So that's why I owe a lot of a lot to him, because he was the one who developed an interest in geography in me in the first place. I think the test series was a, a, a good, most of the tests had a good set of questions that were very diverse, and it did help me, because the role of a test series is to evaluate and understand where you're going wrong, so that you don't repeat those mistakes again. So the more mistakes that you realize you have made in a test, the better the test is, in my understanding. So it, on those parameters, it did help me. And the interview program I had, there was a DAF discussion with RC Sinha sir. I had another interview with two other respected panel members. It was overall a good and enriching discussions, and I did get good feedback, which helped me in the interview. So if there are two pillars to my strategy, be it for any phase of the examination, it is that one, you should have your own set of consolidated notes, which are first your own, second consolidated, that it should not be very large, very vast. You should be knowing every inch of those notes, and you have to revise it again and again, be it prelims or be it notes, be it mains or even be it interview, because in interview also you have to study a lot about your DAF topics, etc. And second was to give a lot of tests. If it's prelims, I in my personal case gave around 160, 170 prelims mock tests. So if there's one thing that I would suggest anyone is to don't shy away from giving tests. The more you give tests, I don't think there's any harm to it. It will somehow help you in the examination later. I'm going with I'm very curious about what's ahead for me. So in the immediate future, there'll be the training in Mussoorie and the training in Delhi and other things. But in the medium to long term, I don't really know what's in store for me. I'm very excited for it, and I'm looking forward to it. I think they should. There are two things that I would like to say. First is that UPSC journey is a long game. It's more of a marathon than a sprint. So you have to be very consistent. So see, if you are persistent about something, you may get it. But for UPSC, you have to retain that for long amounts of time, and for that you have to be consistent as well. So that is one thing. Please maintain consistency. There are many days. It happened with me. It happens with almost everyone. There are days when you feel very low, you feel very down, that things are not working out. You don't seem to see any way out of where you are right now. And in those days, you should realize that in UPSC, these things, if you see from the perspective of UPSC from that 2.5 year, 3 year timeline, these are very small bumps, and you should realize that it doesn't mean a roadblock or end of the road. It is a small bump which you have to cross over, and once you do cross it over, things will become much easier. And second is the part, as on the line of thought of the roadblock, everything in UPSC, or I believe in life, in UPSC especially, when you are preparing, when you are starting with the syllabus, or you're starting answer writing, or you're giving mock interviews, everything has a bell curve. So for the initial significant part of it, it will seem that it's very difficult. It's an uphill journey. I'm not able to get what it is. But after some time, once you cross over that summit, things become much easier. When this is doable, okay, I'm getting better at it. Okay, this is easier. So things will get easier after some time. So you have to push yourself till that peak comes. That is one thing that I would like to tell everyone.